Hello again. Welcome to the Constitution Study. My name is Paul Engel, and we are here to return the Constitution to its rightful owners. That is, we, the people of the United States of America. I am glad you could join me today. Excuse me, my voice is a little off today. If you are a new guest, if you're new to the Constitution Study, well, thank you. I'm glad you're here. I hope you'll give me a little bit of time, not just this episode, but maybe some of the other episodes, see what it is we're talking about, why we are here, why we use the term returning the Constitution to we the people. So I'm glad you're here. I hope you give it a shot. If you're a returning guest, again, thank you. It is that type of support that's going to help keep things going. There are some things in the works for the Constitution Study, so I hope you will continue to listen. I also hope you'll head over to the website, constitutionstudy.com. You can comment on this episode or any other posts that are up there. Most importantly, you can ask a question. And questions are how I get material. It's part of how I get what my episodes are going to be about, by answering your questions. So who knows? You ask a question, hopefully it'll become a podcast episode. Also, hope you'll head over to my Patreon page, patreon.com/Constitution Study. I'm trying to build support for the Constitution Study so I can do more with it, post more podcast episodes, post more blog posts. I'm still working on the book. And in fact, if you go to the website today, constitutionstudy.com, if you aren't already on the mailing list, if you sign up for the mailing list, you'll get a copy of my latest essay reading the Declaration. That's right. I did a whole chapter in the book on the Declaration of Independence, and this essay is basically that chapter. It's got a lot of information about the history and what actually happened when we declared independence and what did it actually mean, which helps a lot as we're trying to understand the rest of the Constitution. So again, head over to the website, sign up for the mailing list, support me on Patreon if you would, please. I'm also posting to Facebook and YouTube. I'm even posting to LinkedIn. This is now part of my career, is this podcasting and blogging. So that is heading up over there as well. I hope you'll check them out. I hope you'll point others to that as well. Have them come join this movement, this idea that we can return self-government to its rightful owners, the Constitution to its rightful owners. So today, I'm taking a little bit of a side road. I've been covering a lot of things lately. I wanted to spend some time and kind of go back and understand why I actually studied the Constitution. I find it interesting. You're in with a group of people. They ask, what do you do? Or, you're in a work situation. Say, well, what do you do for fun? What do you do when you're not working? And I tell people I'm an author, I'm a blogger, I'm a podcaster, and usually the next question is, oh, wait, what do you write about? What are you podcasting about? And then I tell them, well, I'm writing a book about studying the Constitution. And generally the looks kind of range somewhere from mildly interested to somewhere around baffling and confused. See, many people have asked why I study and write about the Constitution. And why I've given some pretty fair answers in the past, those reactions kind of led me to ask myself, why do I do this? Why do I spend the time and the effort and the money to, again, write the book, host the podcast, host the website, do all this blogging? Why do I do that? And it was a time spent really asking myself why, talking to my wife about, am I nuts investing this type of time and effort into this? That kind of led me to a better answer. So I figured today would be a good day to share this answer with you. See, like the founders of this nation, I found my reasoning can be explained by looking at the Declaration of Independence. See, in the Declaration we read, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights. Among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. You see, this nation was founded on what were then self-evident truths that were so obvious you didn't have to write them down. The idea that all men were created equal, they were endowed with certain unalienable rights, was just assumed. It was commonplace. And while I'm sure we're all familiar with the phrase from the Declaration, most people I've encountered do not seem to apply it to their everyday lives. What does it mean for all of us to be created equal. And if these rights are truly unalienable, what does that mean for society today? The Declaration reads that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. See, our governments, all of them, state, local, federal, they are created with one primary purpose: to secure our rights. Not to protect us, to provide for us, but to protect our rights. As I look at our nation today, and as I anticipate the nation my daughter will live in, I do not see a nation where all people are created equal, or one where our rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness are protected. Rather, I see states in a nation more and more bent on telling us when and how we can live, what we can and cannot do with our lives and our property. And where the only happiness one is allowed to pursue is one that is authorized by government. In short, I see that our states and our nation have descended into the same tyrannies our founding fathers fought to protect us from. Even worse, I see people not only accepting of this tyranny, but asking for more. In the Declaration, we read that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, what ends? The protection of the rights of the people. They're there to secure these rights. When they're destructive of those ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Our founders believed that when any government continually failed in their duty to protect our rights, it is our right to alter or abolish it. Now, please don't get me wrong, though. I do not want to abolish our government. Let me repeat that. I do not want to abolish our government. Instead, I want to return it to its constitutional role of protecting the rights of the people. It means I don't want to see a revolution on the battlefield. I want to see a revolution at the ballot box. You see, those who gave us this nation also gave the people the means to protect our rights from infringement by the government. Therefore, why I read and study the Constitution is so I am prepared to assert and defend my rights. I teach others to study the Constitution so they can assert and defend their rights as well. But to do so based on laws rather than intimidation. My goal is not simply to educate myself, but to help create a better, freer nation for my daughter to live in, and by extension, for your sons and daughters to live in as well. So the next time someone asks you, why do you study the Constitution? I know the answer I'll have for them. I will tell them that I do it so that my daughter and others of her generation will have the chance to live free. John Jay said, every member of the state ought diligently to read and to study the Constitution of his country and teach the rising generations to be free. By knowing their rights, they will sooner perceive when they are violated, and they will be better prepared to defend and assert them. John Jay was our first Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. But it reminds you of another quote, and I'm not sure I'm going to get it exactly right, but I think I'll get it close. And that's of John Adams. When asked why he studies war and politics, he said he studied war and politics so his sons could study mathematics and art and physics. Join us. Join us in studying the Constitution so that our children can live free. That's why I do this. That's why I get up in the morning and I'm thinking about the Constitution. It's why I write what I write. It's why I put in the hours that I do. And it's why I ask you to help. I ask you to come support me on Patreon, ask questions, put in comments, feedback, so I have information to continue working on what I'm working on. I hope you found this interesting. I hope you found it inspiring. I hope the idea of reading and studying the Constitution does not seem foreign to you. I hope you see the importance of knowing our rights so that we can protect ourselves from a continually overbearing government. And I hope you will give the next generation, the coming generations, the chance that we had when we grew up to live in a nation freer than it is today. I want to be freer again tomorrow. And I want my grandchildren to live in a country freer than the one my daughter lives in. And the only way we're going to do that is by recognizing the power that the people have over the government. Not by the gun, but by the ballot. I hope you enjoyed this. Please head up to the website. Please continue supporting what I'm doing here. Most of all, continue reading the Constitution. Continue asking yourself the tough questions and talk about others. If you don't have all the answers, that's fine. Point them to the website. Tell them to ask a question. I will do my best to give them an answer, and I'll include you in it as well. I hope that you will join me and continue and follow as we continue this movement to return the Constitution to we the people. And I look forward to seeing you again the next time at the Constitution Study.